We have now completed our entire butterfly. So what we have left is these two top sections here, and then we also need to now start working on our frame. So before we continue our frame, we're going to do the butterfly antlers. After the antlers, we're going to do the inner frame with these little donuts on the frame, and then we will do the internal area of the design. So for the antlers, we're still going to work from the front of our pewter on our lino. We're going to use our Teflon tip, and we're going to draw with a medium to a hard pressure the outline of our antlers. Then we can remove our lino and we can flatten from the front with our paper stump. We always flatten towards our raised area so that we can push all of that extra height into the design. We can then tidy up our edges with the Teflon tip, the skew Teflon tip tool, and that we can use to get into all of these tiny details. So I'm going to raise this up, the antlers, with a detail line from the back, and we're going to do that on our soft surface. So I'm going to place my pewter upside down. Again, I'm lifting it up with both hands, placing it upside down, and then I'm going to draw a detail line from the back in the center of the antler with a medium pressure. We can then turn our pewter back face up and place it on our hard surface, and then we need to flatten again around. I'm going to define with my metal ball tool on either side of the raised area. We still have now these two little antlers to do, and I've decided that I'm going to do them in a debossed manner rather than lifting them up, to give a little bit of a depth to them. So we're going to place our pewter face up on our lino, and I'm going to draw them in from the front, and I'm going to use my metal tip for this because I want it to be nice and thick. Draw it in from the front. So this is a debossed line, so we're not going to flatten anything around it. We're just going to leave it just like that, and it's going to lift up with the rest of the design when we do the background. We can now continue with our inner frame circle that is around the butterfly. So we're going to start with doing the donut shapes first, and then we will do the internal rings in between. So working on the front of our pewter, we're going to start with a donut, the same as we did these little donuts on the wing. We're going to do the internal circle first, still working from the front of our pewter on our lino, and we're using a medium to a hard pressure. Because the donuts are so far spaced, I'm going to do my outlines of all of them in one go. After we've traced all our little donuts, we can remove the lino. Now we can flatten all of them from the front towards the donut outlines. And I'm turning my pewter as I work so that I always have a comfortable space to work with. Then we can define the edges with the Teflon tool. And then after we've done our after we finish with the defining, we're going to add a little bit of height from the back. Now we can turn our pewter face down, and we're going to place it on a soft surface, and we're going to add a little bit of height to our donut rings. So I'm going to use my sharp tip paper stump, and with a soft pressure, I'm going to concentrate on the center of the ring. And I'm going to do all of them in one, and then we're going to flatten again from the front. I don't want to do a hard detail line on this design. You could if you want to. Then you would use your Teflon tip or your metal ball tool to draw in the detail line from the back. So remember that you can rather come back and add more height. So I'm going to work with a soft pressure for now. And if need be, I can come back to add another round of pressure. Now I need to turn my pewter face up again and place it on my hard surface, and then we can flatten and define again. There we go. So now we can do the rings that's in between our donuts. So back onto our lino, we're still working from the front of our pewter. We can now trace our outlines. And I'm going to do all of them in one go. Now we can add a little bit of height from the back onto our frame as well. So we put our pewter face down on our soft surface, and I'm again going to use a medium to soft pressure to add some extra height from the back. And then we can flatten from the front again. There we go. So now we can continue with the internal design.